The best scribe for wound care, it turns out, isn't really a scribe at all. And this deck explains why. WoundScribe calls itself the wound-native scribe, a category we'll define in a moment. Here's the pain in a clinician's own words. Their scribe drops the transcript randomly into the note, and they fix it by hand afterwards. Not all AI scribes are built the same. There are three tiers. General, specialty aware, and specialty native. Each one deeper than the last. Specialty native in orange is the destination we're building toward. Tier 1, it's the general AI scribe, trained on broad medical conversations. It captures the dialogue accurately. But a wound description comes out as generic text. Patient has a wound on the foot. Accurate words, useless documentation. Tier 2, the specialty-aware scribe, fine-tuned on your field, so it recognizes terms like granulation tissue and slough. The sentence improves to diabetic foot ulcer on plantar surface, better words, but still an unstructured transcript, not clinical data. Tier 3, the specialty native scribe, built from the ground up for one specialty, wound care. From the same speech, it produces structured fields: location, size, tissue percentages, drainage, codeable, audit-ready, and ready to sign. So here's the gap. Transcription isn't documentation. In wound care, the real work starts after the words. Measurements become structured data, the narrative becomes an audit-ready chart, the visit becomes compliant codes, and payer rules must be satisfied before you sign. So what does wound native actually mean? 4 things, and each one changes what the scribe can produce. It speaks the vocabulary: slough, eschar, undermining, tunneling, heard correctly, and placed correctly. It thinks in wound structure, so tissue percentages, measurements, and staging land as fields, not prose. And it knows the treatments and the payers: debridement, NPWT, grafts, plus EM, CPT, and ICD-10 rules baked in. In the room, the workflow is one tap, then the clinician just talks to the patient. The wound context is already loaded: patient, visit, wound type, location, and greetings and side chatter are filtered out automatically. First proof point, it understands what you said. Speech becomes a structured wound description: tissue percentages, dimensions, and a differential, not a wall of text. Second proof point, it writes the chart, not just the note. A complete audit-ready SOAP note is assembled from the visit. The clinician reviews, refines, and signs it closed. Third proof point, it codes the visit and then checks the coding against the documentation. ICD-10 and EM come out of the conversation, docs get a live payer recheck, and any gaps are flagged before you sign, not at audit. And the number that matters most for trust, in peer-reviewed evaluation, 0 hallucinations. Every rubric criterion rated excellent or very good, because in a wound note, a made-up finding isn't a typo, it's a liability. It's also built for how real clinics actually work. Clean by design. Ambient or dictated, noise filtered out, runs on any smartphone, and works offline, syncing when signal returns. The reason it can chart and code is architectural. The scribe never works alone. It's one of 6 agents on one platform: imaging, charting, coding, healing trajectory, and patient education. A teammate, not just an app. And the clock doesn't lie. Here's what that architecture saves: 10 seconds from spoken findings to a structured wound description. 6 to 7 minutes to a complete, coded, submitted chart before the patient leaves the room, and roughly 3 hours of after-hours charting reclaimed across a full clinic day. Side by side, here's what each tier of scribe actually does. All 3 transcribe and format, and the last 2 no wound vocabulary, but only native produces structured wound data. And only native writes the full chart, codes ICD-10, CPT, and EM, and runs payer and compliance checks before sign-off. It lands hardest wherever wounds are documented: wound centers and clinics, podiatry and limb salvage, mobile wound care, and skilled nursing. High volume, high scrutiny, and rotating staff. So the category line is simple: stop transcribing, start understanding. Book a 15-minute demo and watch one real visit become a finished coded chart. HIPAA compliant, any smartphone, offline ready.